Well, I'm Jim Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming up later on, our infamous roundtable gets together, and there's no telling what they're going to say, so stay tuned for the fireworks on that. But between now and then, some great guests and information coming your way, including a discussion about how we're going to honor women veterans. Very important, women veterans. And we'll tell you about some family fun events coming up and throughout the area that you'll want to know about, so stay tuned for all that. But first, I want to talk about something serious. Prescription medications, taking them correctly, understanding what they are and how they work. And we have two gentlemen here that are going to help us through this topic. On my immediate right is our good friend who's been here many times before. Mark Moretti is Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Ridge Care. And of course, Nick Conley is here for the first time. He's Pharmacy Manager of Peak Pharmacy. Now, we didn't really rehearse this, Mark, but before we get to this topic, give me 10 or 15 seconds of a reminder for people who haven't, maybe just moved into the area, what Ridge Care does and what you offer.
Sure, we provide great senior living services, great senior living solutions to seniors in a variety of situations with a variety of needs in assisted living, memory care, and independent living communities across the Triad.
And expanding out to a lot of other areas now, too.
We're in the mountains, we're heading to the coast, even down into South Carolina.
Let's start with this medication topic, Mark, while I have you here. Why is it so important? I know this is going to sound like a stupid question, but why is it so important to take meds, prescription medications that you've been given at the right time each day? Because a lot of people say, well, what does it matter? I missed 4 hours, I'll go to the next thing. Why is it important?
Yeah, I mean, you think it sounds stupid, but it's not. When we see people come to our communities for looking for solutions for their aging loved ones, one of the things that we hear all the time is mom or dad can't remember to take their medications. They don't know if they took them today, if they didn't take them today. We don't know if they took them at the right time. And anytime you're not taking those medications, for whatever particular situation you're trying to treat, those conditions can be exacerbated and you could create all kinds of issues. So it's crucial to stay well and also to be able to improve in whatever conditions you're facing.
I'm going to spend some time talking with Nick now, who's sort of the pharmacy expert, as we know. And Nick, why is it important to know, I guess at any age, but particularly with seniors, why is it important to know what your medication does?
I think the big challenge with that is too often we look at a pill and we go, oh, it's just a white tablet. We forget that this pill, by taking it right, by taking it correctly, it can save our lives. It can lower our blood pressure to prevent us from having a stroke. It can lower our cholesterol to prevent us from having a heart attack. And by taking it right and understanding the importance of it can help us remember and it can help us save our life.
And medication, again, this sounds very simplistic, but there are ways that seniors can improve their quality of life through meds if done correctly, right?
Right, yeah, I think it's important when you look at a medication to think about it in the terms of this isn't just a pill, it can help save my life. And by taking it in a good routine, by taking it the right time of day in the morning and night with or without food, you can actually approach and enhance your overall health.
Well, that sort of gets at the next thing I want to ask you. Let's talk about techniques. What are some little tips and things or techniques that seniors can use or maybe caregivers can use with them to make sure they adhere to what they need to be doing with these medications?
I mean, it's okay to admit that it's really hard to remember to take our pills. I have a hard time taking my multivitamin every day, and I can imagine when you get on 6 or 7 or 8 different pills, like how do you keep up with all that?
Right.
I think a really good trick is don't try to create a new routine for it. Don't say, oh, let me take this at 3:30. Try to incorporate it in a routine you already do. If you already brush your teeth at night, take it right before bed.
That's
take
a good
it after
idea.
You brush your teeth. It shouldn't be something new that we have to develop. That just makes it harder. And
Very quickly, why is it important for seniors especially to develop a relationship with their pharmacist?
I would say out of all the healthcare professionals out there, pharmacists are the most readily available. You can walk into any CVS, Walgreens, and you can approach them and you can just ask them. Your pharmacist should be your gatekeeper, should be your contact point. If you have any adverse events, side effects, concerns, use them and talk, open up that conversation. We're just here to help.
And I think one thing I want to end on with Mark is just to remind people that in assisted living facilities where Ridge Care, if you're staying with Ridge Care, you have people on staff that take care of these dispensing of medications, right?
We do. We have medication technicians who are trained to do that. It's all about providing solutions to whatever situations the seniors are facing.
So whether living independently as a senior or in senior living, either instance, I think that Mark and Nick have given us some good things to think about. And I hope you'll go to the website ridgecare.com and learn more about senior living in general. Thanks to both of you for doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
We'll be right back after that. On Triad Today, time to talk about women veterans. They're very important to this country and we appreciate their service. They also need support. and once in a while. And so we have two folks here that help do that. And we're going to talk with them right now. On my immediate right, our good friend, Sandy Jolly's been here many times before. Always glad when we can get her back. She's Program Coordinator of Veterans Services for Goodwill Industries in Northwest North Carolina. Next to her, our friend Don Timmons, who is Veterans Support Coordinator at Hospice and Palliative Care Center in Winston-Salem, which, as you may know from some of the newspaper items, has now changed its name to Trellis and will be up and running with that name in full, I guess, shortly.
the fall.
In the fall. But just a little preview of that. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you, Jim.
I'm going to ask both of you the same question from two different perspectives very quickly. Sandy, starting with you, what kind of services in general does Goodwill offer to veterans?
We do employment and training, so and everything else they need to make sure that they have a living sustainable wage and giving back to the community.
Coming out of the military, trying to make sure they can put those skills to work and that type of thing.
Absolutely.
Don, same question for you from the hospice side. What kind of support do you give veterans?
Well, about 20% of our patients and patients across the country who are hospice patients are veterans. So we belong to an organization called We Honor Veterans, and it helps us interact and just work with veterans at end of life.
Here's a question for both of you, and I'll start with Sandy. Why is it important to support women vets in particular? Because when you've been on the show before, we talk about vets in general.
Right.
Why is it important to support women vets?
Well, one of the things about women veterans is that they are basically unsung. They don't promote. They don't usually are the ones that wear the hats or anything that shows that they are a veteran. You see them every day and you don't even know it. So we want to make sure that the women veterans get the recognition that they deserve.
And in what specific ways? You don't have to tell me everything, but maybe give an example of a specific way that you support and help women veterans in particular.
Well, one of the things we have just recently started working with an organization that does yoga for veterans. And so they have an opportunity for women veterans and all veterans, but traditionally women are more likely to go to yoga.
Yeah.
And we're looking at other avenues to try to help our women veterans.
From your perspective on the hospice side, Don, why is it important to support women veterans?
Well, women in general make probably 80% of the healthcare decisions, for one thing. And in North Carolina, there are almost 80,000 women veterans.
Wow.
So it's a large population. And they, as Sandy was saying, they sometimes go underserved and under-identified.
Always looking after the people around them and caring for people around them, not really putting themselves first, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right, I want to review, as time winds down here, I want to make sure I get all three of these events in very quickly. There's three events we want to tell you about. Sandy, let me start with you quickly. Tell me about the Veterans Experience Action Center.
That's actually going to be it's going to be April 26th and 27th. It's a claims clinic. So if anybody has a claim that they need to follow up on or to file, or want to find out where they are in the rating process, those kinds of things.
As everybody saw up on screen, it's 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Goodwill offices, the headquarter offices in Winston-Salem. Now, Sandy, while I'm right here with you, tell me about the Women Military Veterans, it's short for, Summit and Expo on May the 2nd. That's not right here, that's in Raleigh, right?
That's correct, it's in Raleigh, and it is the state Women Veterans Summit and Expo. We do it every 2 years. This is the third year, I'm pretty sure it's the third year we've been doing this, but it's every other year. So we want to make sure people throughout the region and throughout the state know that it's going to be available.
And then closer to home, wrap us up here, Don, you have a salute to women's veterans on Sunday, June 10th, and that's at Benton Convention Center, right?
Yes, it is.
What's going to happen there?
Well, right now we have about 250 women veterans signed up. We're hoping to have over 300, but it's just a day to recognize and honor them for their service.
I just think that's great. I appreciate both of you doing this. And up on screen, let's put the Goodwill website up for more information about some of these events, www.goodwillnwnc.org. And for our radio listeners, again, www.goodwillnwnc, which stands for Northwest North Carolina.org. And I hope you'll look at that and salute our veterans, all veterans, and in particular as we talk about women's veterans. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks for having us.
We'll be right. Oh, back now on Triad Today, I didn't mean to be rude to the audience, but I was looking at this Healthy UNCG t-shirt. It says Healthy UNCG. I'm going to find out what that means. They've got a Frisbee here about something that's coming up. There's all sorts of goodies here. I don't even want to go to the guest. I mean, I just have so many goodies. I'll just sit here and look at it. No, next to me, let's meet her right now on my right. Stephanie Milroy is director of what we call Healthy UNCG, and that's the first thing I want to do is find out about that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I'm fascinated by your title. What do you do as head of Healthy UNCG?
So I'm the Director of Health at UNCG. I'm an alum of UNCG, just like yourself, and so go Spartans. I received my Bachelor of Science in Community Health Education there in 2004, went on to do my Master of Public Health there in 2006. Since then, I became a certified health education specialist and a health coach as well.
Now, why did you want to go into that?
You know, it starts off, it's a long story that we don't have time for, but for me, I wanted to do more in terms of prevention and behavioral health versus the treatment side of things.
Excellent.
So,
That's great. Now, why is this position? I know it's hard for you to answer since you head it up, but why is having a position like yours so important to the university, do you think?
Well, we really we provide a lot for our employees in terms of programs, services, resources, and on one hand, it's to promote a healthy lifestyle for them and a better quality of life, but on the UNCG or the business side of things, we know that having healthy employees and happy employees, that's what makes for loyal employees, and it helps us to really retain and recruit those good employees and retain those employees. And so it's really a win-win on both sides. We're able to give something back to our employees, and then that in turn they want to come here and they want to work here and do their best while they're at UNCG.
Yeah, I want to ask you about some of the things, just a couple specific examples of things that you do for or offer the employees, because there's almost 3,000, I think 2,800 employees.
Yes.
So give me a couple examples of things that you offer to them to try to keep people healthy.
So we have an array of services that we provide and offer. Everything from our most popular program, I guess you'd say, is our fitness lending library. Employees can check out, just like you would out of a library, fitness equipment, but we actually deliver that piece of equipment to them and pick it up, so it eliminates the barrier.
You deliver the equipment?
And pick it up from them. So
wow.
They don't have to lift a finger until that equipment gets
What
to them,
kind
and
of
then we expect them to lift.
We're not talking about, what kind of equipment are we talking about?
We have kettlebells, we have desk elliptical machines, we have exercise DVDs.
Is this for alum or just current employees?
Hey, you know what? We could get a bus and drive it down here, I'm sure. We'll see what you got.
Yeah. She looked at my stomach and said, yeah, we need to bring a lot of equipment in.
Not at all. Not at all.
Now look, this is great for helping the employees. What about taking your message that you've been articulating out past the boundaries of the campus to the community? What are you working on?
So currently, the Guilford Heart Walk is coming up on May 19th. And UNCG has sponsored and hosted this event in the past. This year we're really excited about it because our Chancellor, Frank Gilliam, is actually the chairman of the walk this year. So there's a lot of buzz around campus about this walk coming up. We have individuals registered, teams registered. It's going to be a great event. There's things for the kids to do. There's more than just the walk happening, and it's all benefits the Triad American Heart Association. So
sure, and of course you'll get a lot of UNCG people, but you're really doing this to sort of as outreach to the community, to say this is what we're doing to keep our folks healthy, and this is sort of a thing that we can do, that everybody can do together in families. And it's not one of these runs. This is actual walk, right?
It's just a walk, yeah. So no competition. There's no timing or anything. It's just a walk. We've got. It's a great way for us to show off our campus, but also actually be involved with the community and have the community come to our space. So
it'll start on campus.
It starts on campus.
All right, so it's up on screen, or we may have already had this on screen, but the Guilford Heart Walk, Saturday, May 19th, www.2.heart.org is where you can find out information about that. Starts on campus, but go to that information at the website. And also, the general website for UNCG is uncg.edu for, as I said, general information. So we have the Frisbee that says Heart Walk. That's going to remind me to walk. And then here's the T-shirt and all this neat stuff. Stephanie, thanks for all you do.
Thank you for having us on. We appreciate it.
All right. Be careful when you say go Spartans. That could have something to do with Michigan, and we don't know if it's...
UNCG, Spartans. Let's go G.
That's right. We'll be Michigan and UNCG. We'll be right back. Now on Triad Today, so glad you could stay with us. And we have two very special guests with us. Been here before, but they don't get here often enough. But they do have a big event coming up soon. We're going to talk about that in just a couple of minutes. But let's meet them right now on my immediate right. Ashley Ellis is Vice President of Social Media and Special Events at Old Nick Williams Farm and Distillery. Next to her, the famous Zeb Williams, who is co-owner of Old Nick Williams Farm and Distillery. Welcome back, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zeb, I'm going to start with you before we get to the big event that we want to promote. Now, just for people that don't know, where is the distillery and farm located?
We're located in Louisville, North Carolina.
And remind us, because it's an interesting story, when the company was originally founded, because a lot of people come on the show and say, well, I founded it in 1990 or whatever. When was the company originally founded?
Originally founded in 1768 and run up till Prohibition.
So when the government in all their wisdom decided to make spirits illegal, then that was all she wrote for your family's distillery, right?
For the most part, yep.
Legally, yeah, for the most part. But if you go up into the hills around Louisville, yes, never mind. Now, so when did you and I think it's your cousin, you reopened the business? When did that happen?
We did. It was my cousin and his father and my father, and we reestablished the business in the end of 2014. Got our doors open in 2017 with our federal and state permits, and actually started distilling out of our facility in June of 2017.
So now, are you on the exact same site? Where it was
Again, for the most part, back then the distillery was actually located right on the creek because of the need of water, but with flood situation and things like that, we couldn't build it there. However, the distillery is built back on the original footprint of the barrel warehouse.
I just think it's really neat. We'll get to the tour and everything like that in just a second. But Ashley, let me go to you. Now, the company is very active in supporting various charitable causes, but we have a particular event that's coming up. It's going to be great fun for everybody, and it's going to do some good work too. Tell me about it.
It's actually on May 5th, so we're doing a little twist on Cinco de Mayo. We're calling it Whiskey de Mayo.
Okay.
And we are doing a cruise-in supporting the Richard Petty Family Foundation.
That's a great cause because they do a lot of good stuff themselves, you know, helping children and veterans and that kind of thing. Now, what kind of things will folks see on Saturday, May 5th? What will they be able to do? What will they be able to see?
We will have, obviously, cars for them to look at. We'll be doing tours and tastings all day long. The event itself is from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll have food trucks, beer and wine vendors. We will also have a live band there for music.
Oh, cool. That'll be good. Now, I mentioned things you can see. Now, let's say on days where you're not having big festivals, just a day-to-day thing, are there regular scheduled tours? Are there times when people can come in? Because I know you have a lot of great artifacts on display in your gift shop area. Can people just walk in and tour anywhere? Do they have to make an appointment on a day-to-day basis?
So we're open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 6. We prefer reservations during the week. On the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays, they can just walk on in.
Now, when you say reservations and somebody said, well, I just want to tour around and see what kind of stuff they have that's neat in the gift shop, but are the reservations really more geared toward a tasting of the product?
Yep. So the tour actually comes with a complimentary tasting and shot glass.
Okay, and of course you have to be how old to be?
21 and up.
Have to be 21. And now, Zeb, that brings me back to the thing I wanted to mention before we run out of time. A little bird told me that you're developing a new product. What's going on with that?
We're working now and actually have fermentations in the fermentation room. We're making a Jamaican style rum, a Caribbean rum with a direct twist on Jamaican way of doing things. So
Wow. Well, that's cool. We'll be looking for. Now, when is that going to be premiering?
I would like to have it on the shelves within 60 to 90 days. Federal government approval, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come, yeah. Well, you all have just a great place out there. So I'm going to, as we wrap up, I'm going to mention one more time up on the screen, Whiskey de Mayo Cruise-In to help benefit the Richard Petty Family Foundation, Saturday, May 5th, 11 to 3. And for more information, you go to the website on screen, which is www.oldnickwhiskey.com. I got that right? Zeb, Ashley, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll be right back. On Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable. Another shout out to our good friend Ogie Overman, who's still recuperating from surgery. Get well soon, my friend. On my immediate right, the lovely, talented attorney, president, CEO. She does everything. She's head of Dudley Beauty Products, Ursula Dudley Oglesby. Next to her is the beautiful sheriff of Guilford County, B.J. Barnes. And next to him is Keith Granberry, a man who B.J. has to look, well, I don't want to say, but
yeah, don't say, do not say.
BJ is.
Don't say it.
Keith is under constant surveillance.
Don't-
Let's just
do-
leave
don't
it at that.
say it. Do not
Keith
say
is.
that.
Keith is, of course, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Seriously, doing a lot of great work around the country and getting people registered to vote. And a quick shout out to our buddy Brian Davis, who has a birthday this week. He's
Happy
Brian
birthday.
Davis, of course, is our extraordinary editor and floor director. He's 78 years old.
Smooth
Now-
operator.
Now to
He's a smooth operator.
to the first topic. This is kind of serious and it's weird and it's conflicting at the same time. Here we go. The young man who massacred 17 people in a Florida high school now wants his trust fund that was left to him, $800,000 in the trust fund. Says, I'm going to give it all to charities. Everybody says, oh, that's great. But here's the question, guys and gals. If you ran a charity, would you accept money from a mass murderer? Ursula.
That's a hard question. I mean, I think in this particular case, because it's not actually his money, it's his parents' money, since it's a trust fund, then I'm happy to accept it. If that money can go towards some good, then I think you should, yeah.
BJ.
I agree. If it's going for good, take the money. I mean, there's little of it in the world for charity anyway. So if it could do some good, take it.
Keith.
Absolutely would take the money and make sure that it helped other people.
All right, now on a similar theme, because of that Florida massacre, schools are trying to beef up security and everything, and I'm sure you guys have heard about this, but there's a school district in Pennsylvania that did something weird last week. They've issued baseball bats to every teacher, thinking this is somehow going to help with security or whatever. I don't even want to comment on this, but I'm going to turn to Ursula. What do you think about this?
I don't even understand it. It just doesn't make sense. I'm going to defer to the sheriff.
BJ, a security issue?
Anything can be used at any time, but if they think they're doing something, I mean, training would have been much better.
Yeah, Keith.
Okay, this is a question that you asked BJ. If you have 20 inmates and the guard has one baseball bat, what is going to happen?
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. Well, speaking of schools, Winston-Salem Forsyth County is considering a 4-year contract for teachers, non-tenured teachers, rather than a standard 1-year contract, year to year, year to year. Good idea or bad idea to have 4-year contracts? Quickly, Ursula.
I don't know. I don't know the reason of going from 1 year to 4 years. It does give the teachers some security, and I guess you can help them, and evaluate them. I'm not sure.
BJ.
From a guy with a 4-year contract, I have no problem with it.
You have a contract with the voters. That's right, Keith.
Well, I think it should be 1 year, and the reason being is that we have many teachers that go into these schools that are underperforming. If you give them a 4-year contract, there's no incentive for them to continue to teach these young people.
Better.
We need them to do that work each and every day, so they should have to prove themselves.
Good point. Quickly, a new poll says educated white voters are shifting away from Trump's Republican Party. Now, given that and the investigation going on of his personal attorney, do you think the president will still run for re-election in 2020? Quickly, Ursula.
Probably.
BJ.
Oh, most definitely he will if he wants to, but it's a poll again, and polls just aren't right.
And he's ahead. I mean, he's doing well in some polls too. Keith.
They said the same thing when he ran this time, that educated white voters were going against him and to Hillary Clinton, and see where that got Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Now, a Surrey County clerk of court is still catching flack for demanding that her staff work on her re-election campaign. I think she's reneged on some of this, but you say to yourself, well, that can't be legal. In North Carolina, technically it is. She can ask them to support her campaign, that kind of thing. I'll be interested to see what BJ says, because he's maybe been confronted with this. But given that it's not illegal, should the General Assembly consider making this kind of action illegal on the part of a county clerk or a sheriff or somebody like that, demanding that support from the staff? Ursula.
I think so. I can't imagine that. I don't understand the reasoning behind making it legal that your staff has to work on your campaign. I don't understand that.
BJ, you've confronted
It may not
this.
be illegal, and it's not, but it is unethical. I mean, she should definitely not be doing that. I mean, not something that I would ever be involved in. I'd like for my people to vote for me. I expect them to do their job.
All right, Keith.
Demanding versus allowing them to do it on their own accord is two different things. And if you have to demand your staff work for you, that means that you're not a good manager in the first place.
In an effort to hide Walt Disney's 3-pack-a-day cigarette habit from today's kids, the company is now airbrushing out all the photos they can find of Walt as he's holding cigarettes. So it's just his hand, but no cigarette. Quickly, are you guys okay with a company altering history of any kind? Ursula?
No, not in that case. I think that's ridiculous. It was a different time during that time, and I think we need to respect what happened during that time, but know that in today's world, that smoking is not the best.
BJ.
We need to learn from history, and what they should be doing is saying, Walt smoked, he shouldn't have. Maybe he'd be living today if he didn't.
Good point, Keith.
I'm okay with them taking a cigarette out. I mean, there's.
I know, we're like, what?
I'm okay with that. I mean,
You're okay with them taking the cigarette?
Yeah, I mean,
what else are you going to take out of him?
Oh, come on, man. A cigarette?
Take his tie off, the next thing. All right, finally, a new poll says that women are smarter than men when it comes to money and investing. Guys and gals, do you believe the finding of that research? Ursula.
I'm a woman. What do you expect?
A successful businesswoman, and of course she's saying, look at me, everybody. I'm perfect. All right, BJ.
My wife controls the checkbook, but we make the decisions together. That's ridiculous.
You think it's a ridiculous finding?
I
But you're sitting
do.
next to Ursula, who says she believes in it.
Well, and I love Ursula and her family. I've known them for a long time, but no.
Well, by the way, her family just called and they've disowned you. Keith, what do you think?
I think it depends. I mean, women shopping, they shop way more than men, so you can't really say. I think it's either or. But in terms of investment, I think women are smarter than men. Absolutely.
You don't go to the grocery store?
Absolutely not. I have my own personal shopper.
Oh, excuse me.
You see? You see?
Probably a woman, right?
I don't even know how to react to that. Fortunately, that's all the time we have left. Except for this. Boxing is going back to basics, as last week the United States once again sanctioned bare-knuckle fighting for the first time in over a century. Said one fan, "Hey, I can't imagine a fight where the gloves come off." "I can," said Hillary Clinton. For all of us
You had to
here,
throw
Try
it in there,
Today.
didn't you?
For all, we're going to go contact Keith's personal shopper after the show. We'll see you next week.